Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, and we see what's going on a lovely island of Fawnhollow today, where apparently we had an update for Animal Crossing, which I didn't realise that we were still doing updates on 2.0.5. I think we're on 2.0.4 before, so it must just be a very small bug fix patch or something. But you know, I will check out the wiki just to see if there's anything particularly new. Let's see, 2.0. Oh no, 2. I don't know. Has it been updated for 2.0.5? 2.0.5. Let's see, 2.0.5. Anyone put down what happened? I don't know. It's not like Nintendo really do patch notes, so probably just bug fixes if it's just a small update like that. But anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 4:59 on Wednesday, February 16th, 2022. Sahara is visiting today, which is nice. I guess. we probably have so many duplicate wallpapers and rugs from Sahara that's not actually that big a deal anymore. But yeah, yesterday was the Lantern Festival, and I talked about some of the things that you do in Lantern Festival, including one which I didn't hear of before, which is Lantern Riddles. So I asked my parents about it apparently, and they were like, oh yeah, that is a thing. Oh, Pecan is close enough friends that she actually sends letters to us now. Dear, I do enjoy craft projects, don't you? Focusing oneself on making something beautiful is a wonderful stress reliever, and finishing it is so very fulfilling. The hard part is deciding on which project to start. Indecisively yours, Pecan. We'll keep it because it's the first letter and currently only letter we have on Pecan. Yes, so I asked my parents about these lantern riddles which happened. I don't know why they're like three buried things right next to each other. It's a little bit ominous, but that's neither here nor there. We do need to get some fossils doing. We need to do a bit of a stretch. Yeah, no, we just give me some examples and that sort of thing. I will say, I did look up the English ones, some yesterday. That's basically kind of like what the simple ones are, like the English ones. Like one of them was like, I have a face but no mouth. I have legs. No. I have feet but I cannot walk. I don't have hands or arms but I have 4 legs. What am I? Or something. And if you think about it, you'll be like, table? Maybe? Because if you're used to riddles, you'll probably get used to that sort of swing of things, I suppose, of riddles, just describing things in very abstract ways. The thing you might be confused by would have been like a table has a face, and it's just that's just lost in translation, because in China we call the tabletop, you can call it a face, I think. But basically, the English ones, or the simple ones for like 4-year-olds to 6-year-old kids, not interesting. They're the same as the usual old English riddles. And to be fair, I suppose the harder ones aren't all too different as well. But those lantern riddles are very difficult, as it turns out. Without extensive knowledge in Chinese, who'd have thunk it, Trying to solve puzzles in a different language is a lot easier to do if you actually are fluent in that original language. But one of them I do remember was, let me think, hold on. It's like three waters pressing down on a sideways mountain, or like a toppled mountain. I can't remember the exact phrasing for that. And then, as it turns out, they come in 3 parts. Right? They have the question, they have a hint, and the hint for this one was it's a 1-character answer, and then they have an answer. By the way, if you don't know Chinese, you're not going to get this one, so don't even try and guess. The answer is Dan, which is a Chinese character, which looks like the Chinese character for mountain, toppled over on its side, and it's got 3 drops coming down onto it, which is meant to be like the free water, because also I suppose that can look like a radical, which is used to represent water in Chinese characters. But I was like, oh, that's actually kind of clever. Well, if you know Chinese. If you don't know Chinese, you're just probably like, what? That's nonsensical. But I suppose it's a thing with Chinese being a pictographic language. I don't really know what it's called, but whatever. Things you writing in a language is kind of like drawing a picture in some abstract sort of sense. And because of that, you can get a lot more creative, I suppose, when it comes to all these riddles that you give out. I mean, there certainly probably are equivalents in English, but not that I can really think of. But there's another riddle which was like there are waves, but there is no movement, or something like that. I can't really recall off the top of my head. And then the hint was like it's a location, and then the answer was a city, which name translates to like still waves or something. Or peaceful waves. I can't really recall. So it's sort of like playing off puns and that sort of thing. So that probably explains why I couldn't get the Lantern Festival riddles I looked up yesterday, because they are just insanely difficult. But Talking about it, it made me sort of reflect on the fact that riddles are quite a like wide like umbrella term for just general like sort of puzzles, brain teasers, lateral thinking things. They all kind of come under riddles. You know, rebuses, dingbats, which are kind of the same thing, I think, but still, because you know, when you say riddles, I think most people will think of a very traditional riddle for things, you know, like the riddle for nothing, which is, sorry, I gave you the answer before I gave you a riddle. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's like, was greater than God, more evil than the devil, rich people want it, poor people have it, something something, and if you eat it you will die, or something. And maybe the answer is nothing. Do I need to go? Yeah, ready to go home. I think that's the sort of classic riddle that people really think about when you say riddle. You basically, spoilers, right? Because I used to like making up these riddles. Like sometimes in a math class, what we do when we were talking, you know, I was clearly there on my front row with my other fellow peers who are also pretty good at maths, and you know, we just sort of like casually chatted about sort of thing, and the teacher led aside because we were doing our work. But while I was doing it, I would like make up riddles or something to try and test people with. And one of them I remember, see if you can get it yourself. This wasn't actually during maths class. I think this was during a school trip somewhere or something. We were like on the coach, and you know, you try and entertain yourselves on the coach, you just talk to people around you, and one of them was me making up riddles, and it was like, what was it? Strung up hair. No, something. I have rows of 82 strung up hair and three small feet. For hundreds of years you've heard my song. From joy to you've heard me cry, from joy to sorrow, what am I? That's it. Aww, they put the Valentine's thing in their house, which would be a bad thing normally, because I'm just like, hey, you can't do that, you know? That's a furniture item which doesn't fit your thematic, but since we got Happy in Paradise, we can now customize them anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We're not going to do Phoebe's yet, but at some point in the future we're going to plan out exactly what we're going to be doing with all of them, but that is not today. Because my past does not define me, because my past is not today. A little bit of Equestria Girls, anybody? Sorry. Anyway, the answer to that one is a piano, you know. There's like a different part, like that didn't sound quite right, but I can't remember what part I'm missing. Something 80 teeth. I can't remember what the bit before it was. Anyway, but 80 teeth is because, you know, pianos have 88 keys. Generally strung up hair, that's like the strings. The strings behind the scenes in a piano. And three gold feet. Oh, 3 gold feet, that was right. Which are, of course, the pedals. If you don't know, there's a sustain pedal, there's like a dampen pedal, I think, or no, a staccato pedal. I don't remember what the middle pedal does, to be honest. I don't think, I mean, the only pedal which like I ever really used was the right pedal, which was of course the sustain pedal. Or is it the left pedal? Hold on, I'm getting confused. I don't know, there's 3 pedals on pianos. Sometimes you might have 2. My keyboard here actually only has 1, but it's only got the sustain pedal because I don't really need to use any of the others. Mainly because it's electronic, but still. For hundreds of years, you've heard my song. Now, this one, I didn't actually know, because, of course, I made it up in a coach. I didn't actually know how old a piano was, so I was like, I don't know if it should be hundreds or thousands. So I think at the time I said thousands, but I think I looked it up later, and I was like, it's only been out for, like, 800 years or something. Hold on. When are pianos invented? No, that doesn't sound right. It should... Surely they've been out for at least 2,000 years. Wait, not 2,000, 200. Yeah, wait, 200 was right. When were pianos invented? I just got confused between thousands and hundreds there. Around 1700, that's right. Yeah, so, you know, I apologise to my former classmates, even while, you know, I'm still friends to most of them, for getting an inaccurate time frame of a piano. I think I also said 100. I have rows of 100 teeth, or something like that, because I also didn't know how many keys a piano had off the top of my head, to be perfectly honest. There's another one I made, but I can't remember how it goes. It was about a wishing well, I think. It's super easy just to make up riddle. You just think of some random object which, you know, has multiple ways to describe it, and when you just think of multiple ways to describe it and then just string them together and make it rhyme. There's another one I did in like one of our electronics lessons. It was about capital letters or something. I honestly don't remember that one, but all I remember is the last line being, and through this riddle you've met 8, or something like that. because it had like 4 lines. No, sorry, not 4 lines, 8 lines. Each one starting with a capital letter, and we were just like, what? But that's the sort of one where I think it's like too easy, because that was like, what else can that mean? Like, through this riddle you've met 8 is kind of like, okay, well, it has to be something literally like literature or something English related, right? Otherwise, how else could you meet them, I suppose, through a written riddle? But I don't know, making riddles is kind of fun. Should we try and make a riddle now? I don't know what we could even make a riddle for, but it's been years and years since I've even thought about riddles, so it's going to be quite difficult. What can we make a riddle for? Like, what's a thing which can be described in multiple ways? It's a good question. I don't really have an answer for you off the top of my head. Maybe we could do a shooting star. So you obviously got to say something like wish, but, you know, that might make it quite easy. So maybe we just do stars. Having if I fall, then as you wish. No, I bring hope, and as I fall. No. What am I? No, you got to always end up with what am I. So what rhymes with I, which could be related to star? Shine. The darkest nights I still shine. I bring hope as I fall. No, and you got to do something about constellations, clearly. So with my friends I stand tall, and I bring hope as I fall. Then something. Shine. See, I want to put shine bright, but shine bright is a bit too obvious, isn't it? And we'll never meet. What am I? That could be a good ending. So, surrounded by friends, I shine bright, but we'll never meet. What am I? So, okay, what's this? I bring hope as I fall. I bring hope as I fall. And what rhymes with fall? As I fall, I bring hope. You can always invent it. What rhymes with hope? Hope, dope, hope, gope, hope, jope, mope. I was like telescope, and I was like, oh, that's way too obvious. You can't put telescope. Taupe, wope, zope. That's not even a word. I bring hope as I fall. Something bold, cool. Dole, fall. Gol, hall, jol, call, maul, nol, paul, call, vol, sol, tall. I want to put tall in there, but I'm not sure how to put tall in there. Maybe you can relate it with Orion. Isn't Orion quite tall? But sorry about that little bit of a pause. What were we talking about? Riddles? Yeah, riddles. I think. Oh yeah, we were making a riddle about shooting star. What did I get to? I bring hope as I fall. With my friends I stand tall. Is that what? Oh, you know what? We could do like a play of starry-eyed. Yeah, that's another good thing. If you can choose something which also appears in like idioms or common phrases, fantastic. So, I rhymes with I. I see your dreams in your eye. But we'll never meet. What am I? Okay, so with my friends I stand tall. I bring hope as I fall. I see your dreams in your eyes. But we'll never meet. What am I? There we go. There you go. And the answer, a star. Like, no, it's not a shooting star, because falling star. First part being the first part being like constellations. The second part being about a falling star. And the third one being about starry-eyed, and the fourth one just being about the fact that they're like millions and millions of miles away. So there you go. There's a dear original riddle for you right there. Go ask your friends about it, and then they'll probably complain, being like, "It doesn't make sense. Stars don't stand tall together." And I'm like, "Oh, it's okay. It's like artistic, artistic license. Like, there's only so many words which rhyme, and I wanted to keep the meters sounding nice, etc., etc. If you want to critique it, go make your own one, or don't partake in these riddles. Okay, I'm done. No one complaining. Perhaps I was a bit too close to the heart there. yeah, I mean, it's very easy to be like, oh, this riddle sucks or whatever, because it's not 100% correct. And I suppose my answer to that is like, you know, what did you want me to just factually describe to you at a star? A collection of like superheated gases or something. Actually, I'm not really sure what a star is. I'm going to be honest, I'm not an astronomer. It's something like superheated gases or something, and you know, maybe it condenses. I don't know. There's different types of star, whatever, etc. But that's not fun. The riddle is sort of untangling the sort of, not messiness per se, but the interesting weave of words that you put together to make a riddle in the first place. And if you don't like riddles, that's perfectly fine. You can just be like, I don't like riddles. And you know, some riddles are certainly better than others, but you know, there's only so much you can really do if you're trying to make a riddle, I suppose, within... How long did that take me? 5 minutes? I don't really know. But yeah, that's sort of golden rule of riddles. Pick something which has many different ways you can take it, you know, either it has many different strange words associated with it, it appears a lot in idioms, or it's there's a lot of things you can do with it, and then you can just like craft a riddle around it. But anyway, those are like the sort of generic riddles you really think, but those aren't really my favourite type of riddles. My favourite type of riddles tend to be the much more puzzly side of riddles, which you know, might probably come to expect if you've seen any of my let's plays, even like, hey, you know, turns out Deer kind of really likes puzzles. Because there's things which are like logic puzzles, and there's things which are like mathematical bases and etc, etc. I feel like the mathematical bases ones are quite common. I'm trying to think of one. You know, like a one with the jugs with 3, 5 and 7 litres or whatever, and you're trying to get 6 litres, I can't remember. And I don't know, it's like a mathematical way probably you can represent that. I guess with a graph. Yeah, I guess with a graph makes most sense, and you can move things around like that, but that's not really the point. There's also nice like logical ones which have like, which I guess are also kind of mathematical in essence, but you know, have nice structure to them. Like I don't know, can I think of one off the top of my head? There's a pirate one, which, you know, actually probably the most famous one is probably the blue eyes brown eyes riddle, which, you know, is quite hard to sort of wrap your head around, I suppose, to start off with. So perhaps a much easier version is, imagine you are a captain of a pirate ship and you have your 3 other crew members. There's a strict hierarchy in your crew, with you at number 1, your first mate, I guess at number 2, your boatswain at number 3, and your powder monkey at number 4. I don't know. I just try to think of like 4 roles in a pirate ship. I don't really. It's not really important. But anyway, they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. You just found a treasure chest full of 100 gold in it. Now, the interesting thing about your pirate crew is everyone is perfect logisticians. They follow every logical step and logical reasoning, and they know that everyone else on the crew also follows logical steps. Now, you found a treasure chest full of 100 gold coins, and you, being the first of 9, are the first to divvy up exactly how they get distributed among your crew. So that's what your how it works is you come up with a distribution, and then everyone votes on it, and if at least 50% of the people say aye to it, then that's how the coin is distributed. But if the other people don't say aye to it, then your distribution gets vetoed, and it goes to the next person who comes up with a distribution, and you can no longer get any coins in that aspect. I think in the actual riddle they throw you overboard, but that seems a bit harsh. So, and the basic question is, what sort of distribution should you give a gold to? Actually, now I think about it, you probably shouldn't have 4 crew. You should probably have at least 6 crew. 4 makes it a little bit iffy. I mean, it works at 4, but I think that's a bit too simplified. So imagine everything I said except for the 6 crew members. So the question becomes, how should you distribute golden coins to get at least 50% of your approval vote? Now, at first you might be like, oh, I'll give, while also maximising the amount of gold coins you get, because of course pirates, you know, they want to maximise the amount of personal gold they get. So the initial assumption, I think a lot of people would be like, I could just distribute it evenly. And yeah, that's true. I think you probably would get at least 50% approval for that distribution. But the question is, can you do that? Can you do it even better? What sort of like what sort of distribution can you get? Can you squeeze out the most coins possible? Now, the way to think about it is actually simplify cases down as it comes to most puzzles. Imagine the first 4 people vote, give a distribution, but half of people all go like nay. That's not what I want to see. Well then, your question becomes, okay, so what happens with the last two people? Well, you got number 5 and number 6. Number 5 obviously just needs half a vote, and they themselves are half a vote, so they are just going to be like, well, I get all the coins. And oh yeah, I should probably point that this is an important part of clarification, that once your distribution has been vetoed, you can no longer vote on the future votes. So sorry, I didn't mention that, which, you know, maybe you're trying to solve it and you were like, yes, it's impossible. But anyway, number 5 will just be like, I will get 100% of the money. Number 6 obviously can't do anything about it, so they just go, whatever. Even if I vote no, it doesn't matter, you're going to vote yes, and then you'll get everything. So that's what will happen with number 5. Now, everyone's a perfect logistician, so number 4 knows that's what's going to happen if their distribution gets vetoed. So number 6, if number 6 vetoes number 4's vote, they will get nothing. So they're only going to do it as supposed to be spiteful, if anything. I think there is, you know, the actual riddle has like a line in it which, you know, probably covers that base case. I can't remember. I think it was like if they were to vote, they're always going to vote in favour of tossing someone overboard if like money amounts were equal or something. Anyway, so number 4's optimal strategy is to give 1 coin to person number 6. Why? That way they'll at least get 1 coin. You know, it's better than getting 0, certainly. And then they give it no coins to number 5, because number 5 is going to vote them out anyway, because as soon if number 5 votes them out, then there's a chance that they'll be able to get 100% of the coins. Now basically you work out backwards from that, giving each person 1 coin, if it meant that in the next situation they would get no coins, etc, etc. Leading you to give 1 coin, I believe, to person number 3 and person number 5. Person number 5 and 0 coins to everyone else. And then, you know, everyone else does the logic in their head. They're like, okay, this is the best it's going to happen for me. This is the best it could possibly be for number 3 and number 5. Because if you think about it, from number 3's perspective, if you vote out number 1, number 2 is just going to be like, alright, I'm going to do the same logic. I'm going to give it to 4 and 6. I'm going to have 50% of a vote. And then number 3 will get nothing. So they're like, I at least want 1 gold coin. So, you know, they'll be like, yes. And then number 3 and number 5 vote on your behalf, vote on your side. I don't remember if we... Hold on. We should check that these recipes are actually things that we can use or not. I think we already know both of them. Yeah, we definitely know green grass cat. So number 3 and 5 vote on your side, you vote for yourself, and boom, bada bing, bada boom. You've got the maximum amount of gold which you could have possibly gotten. Let's not start these things. We need to put stuff away. I didn't realise we were holding so much stuff to put in storage. So, you know, that's how the logic follows, I suppose. I don't know what it's called. Maybe it's called the logical pirate riddle. I don't know, it's probably got a name of some sorts. But yeah. What else to say? I'm not really sure. And I'm trying to think of more riddles. I do love riddles. It's been, but the problem is with these riddles over and over again is I've heard so many riddles. So whenever anyone hears, oh, you like riddles? I've got a cool riddle for you, and then they tell it to me. It's like, oh, I've heard this riddle before. But it just makes there times when someone tells me a riddle which I've never heard before, all the more exciting. So I'm like, oh yes, now I've got something I can actually like sit down and think about. I always like the logical ones. The mathematical based ones are okay. They're just like, you know, not the most interesting in the world. I think they're a little bit like. I don't know how to put it. They're just like a little unsatisfying when the entire solution is just like maths it out, you know. if a maths can be abstracted into a way which feels intuitive, that's when it's most exciting, I think. So mathematical base, fine, but if it can only really be communicated properly through mathematical language, then I'm like, that's just like a maths problem. That's not a riddle. Riddles are meant to sort of promote lateral thinking, and even with a bare minimum level of maths, you could probably like work it out. So there's always an interesting one of horses. I feel like horses come up in riddles quite a lot. I'm not really sure why. But there's a one where you got 4 horses and you're trying to cross a bridge. Only 2 horses can cross at one time. Only 2 horses can cross at one time. The 4 horses cross the bridge at different speeds. One crosses in 1 minute. Another crosses in 2 minutes. Another crosses in 5. Another crosses in 10. But it's also at night time, and they have to cross while holding a torch or something like that. Oh, I didn't mean to do motion. Oh, whatever. Fine, I'll detach it. I'll do a motion one. Yeah, so what was it? Yeah, but they have to be holding a torch. So basically, when two horses cross, they can only go as slow as the slowest one. Now, the question becomes, what is the shortest amount of time you can cross a bridge to get all four horses across? I don't know, that's quite a popular one. You can probably see it better phrased elsewhere with someone who's not also simultaneously playing Animal Crossing and trying to do morning stretches. But the answer, spoilers, in 3, 2, 1, is 17 minutes. Now, the way to think about it is basically you go like, okay, well, if I need to get all horses across, eventually the 10-minute horse has to cross, right? There's no two ways about it. That 10-minute horse is going to come across. So I had to spend at least 10 minutes. Okay, and then you think, okay, so what's a way I could minimize the amount of time spent crossing if a 10-minute horse has to cross? Well, if a 10-minute horse has to cross, why not, I suppose, send it along with a 5-minute horse? That way we won't have to spend a minimum 15 minutes because we'll have a 5-minute horse and 10-minute horse crossing at the same time. Instead of taking 15 minutes separately, they'll take 10 minutes, instead of taking 15 minutes separately, they'll take 10 minutes together. Okay, now the question becomes, how can we set up a scenario where that is even possible in the first place? Because we still have a torch scenario. Basically, what needs to happen is they need to cross, but we don't want any of them to come back again, because that will just sort of double the time that they have to end up crossing the entire bridge again. So what we have to do is we have to have one of like a 1-minute horse or a 2-minute horse already on the other side to bring the torch back. And you know, if you're trying to minimize the amount of time, you'll probably start with like, okay, so the 1-minute horse needs to already be on the other side. Okay, how can we get the 1-minute horse across on the other side? Well, the only one we have left is the 2-minute horse. And oh yeah, someone always has to bring the torch back. You can't like roll the torch and you can't walk in the dark. And I guess there's other things. But I mean, when you hear about riddles, you sort of get a feel of what sounds like a valid solution and what doesn't, etc. So you could probably guess, hey, there's no funny business here. That's more of a lateral thinking puzzle sort of solution, isn't it? We can sea bass, hit rocks. I guess we'll hit rocks. Or we'll sell some coconuts. Yeah, because we got a crafting thing. So you're like, okay, horse number, the 1-minute horse needs to be ready on the other side. The only way we can do that is by getting 1-minute horse and 2-minute horse to run across together to the other side, and then the 2-minute horse needs to come back. In which case you'll be like, is this right? Yeah, okay, so that'd be 4 minutes at least, and then the 2-minute horse gives the torch to a 5 and 10-minute horse who take the whole 10 minutes to get across. That makes 14 minutes. 1-minute horse comes back, 15 minutes. 2-minute horse and 1-minute horse come back again, 17 minutes. Bada bing, bada boom. I mean, there's also probably some way you can mathematically prove that's the optimum. That's optimal, but I don't really know off the top of my head. But it's very sort of like nice how you can logically start from how you can logically get from question to answer just by, you know, thinking logically. That's what I always really like about these sort of riddles. There's another one, a horse racing one. If you had like 25 horses and you can race 5 horses at a time to find out the relative speed between those 5 horses, how many races would you have to do to find the 3 fastest horses? I believe is what you had to do. And then you can think about that. I don't know. There's probably no funny business basically. What's the way you can do it? And the answer is, well, firstly, if you're going to have to find out, if the only way you can find out relative speeds between the horses is by racing them, you're going to have to race every horse at least once. So, you know, that's a logical place to start. To maximise the amount of to minimise the amount of horse races, race every horse once in 5 groups of 5. And then you can start thinking about your 5 groups of 5, being like, well, we only need the top 3 fastest horses. So what we can actually do is we can now ignore every horse that came 4th and 5th in each of the races. So now we just have the top 3 horses from all 5 different races of giving us 15 horses. Okay, then you think, okay, why don't we race the fastest horse in every single category? That way we can get like an order of basically the 5 groups of which has the fastest horse and which has the slowest horse. So when you have the 5 groups of 3 ordered 1 to 5, and then you think about it again and be like, okay, we can do the same logic again. The fastest horse in group 4 and the fastest horse in group 5 are still slower than at least 3 horses, which are the fastest groups in group 1, 2, and 3. So we can now and by, you know, a transitive property, all the other horses in group 4 and all the other horses in group 5 are also must be slower. We'll sell this away, but sell this as well, because I think that would be enough to give us a 5,000 bell requirement. Okay, so now you have how many horses left? You have 9 horses left, I believe. Then you've got to think about it a little bit more and be like, which of these horses actually matter? You know which. I mean, you think about it and you're like, wait a minute, I already know which horse is the fastest horse now. We know the fastest horse in group 1 must be the fastest horse overall. So now we can ignore it. So now we have 8 horses left. Second and third in group 1, first, second and third in group 2, and first, second and third in group 3. But this is where you can think about group 3 a little bit more. Think about the third fastest horse in group 3. It is, at minimum, the 5th fastest horse, because it's already slower than the first in group 1, the first in group 2, and the 2 above it in group 3. And if you think about the second fastest horse in group 3, it's also at minimum the 4th fastest horse. So you can discount those 2, and for the same reason you can discount the final horse in group 2, which means you give up the last race of the second fastest horse, the third fastest horse in group 1, the first fastest horse, and the second fastest horse in group 2, and the fastest horse in group 3. Race them all together, and the top 2 from that one are horses number 2 and 3 in speed. And it's like, oh, you only need 7 races to really get them done, from what before could have felt like you needed like at least 20 or something races altogether. Ain't that cool? Ain't that nice? Isn't that peculiar? Doesn't anyone a little more? Anyway, so but those I like those riddles better. We haven't even got to lateral thinking riddles, which by the way I don't really like. They're just more. I don't really like them in the space of riddles. I kind of like them more in the space of like creative imagination exercises, which is okay. But it's a different sort of thing. But like classifying on a riddle is like effy. But anyway, if you can tell, I love riddles. So if you've got any riddles, do leave them in the comments. I will warn you, I've probably heard a riddle before, unfortunately, but. Maybe other people haven't, and it's always nice to hear what people think. So anyway, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me, Dear Darling, Discord, follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.